The LCS Challengers League is brought to you by Turo, the world's largest car-sharing marketplace. Find your drive.
Hello, and welcome back into the LCS Challengers League. We're getting ready for our second series of the day. It is going to be Disguise taking on Maryville University. And I got to ask both of you, looking at these two teams, we got two teams that I think have really shaking up the expectations everyone had going into this plate for very different reasons, though. Especially, like, you look over to Disguise. This team, 3 of the 5 players that are on the team from the victorious Cloud9 Challengers of Spring. We expected this team to be the first place team, to be the ones contesting against Team Liquid. But now they're kind of sitting right in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, maybe your expectation. I know a lot of the community was hyping up, but Beatdown, give us the real truth of expectations for DSG.
DSG for sure, we expected to be top 3. It was going to be them, FlyQuest, and TLC. It's been a bit of a bumpy road. We had the 1-1 split meme. They've been splitting games with teams from all over the standings. And going into the second round robin, the hope is that they would become more consistent. As Tomio had told me, they are trying to be integrating the new members in Young and Meech.
Hey, they're within striking distance of second place because Wildcard did drop a game here. They were one behind them. If they can have a good showing here against, let's be honest, a tougher opponent than we had expected coming into the summer split, then DSG could still make that punch up to try and catch up more towards even Team Liquid Challengers at that point.
But it is up against Maryville, and as you talked about, this team definitely has defied all expectations of teams. I mean, Disguise, there's kind of a joke that they were the team that were getting the most 1-1 splits, and then you looked at Maryville. You were 1-1 splitting with everyone from the top to the bottom, taking games off of TLC when they were considered untouchable as well. FlyQuest, but then also losing to teams at the very bottom, such as Supernova, such as Team Fish Taco. So this team really has been kind of all over the place, haven't they, Beat?
They have been, and it's been an interesting one, because when we talk about standings and expectations, Maryville are about where I thought they would be, that middle of the pack, 5th, 6th area. But how they got there is very interesting to me. You highlighted it already, Magical. They split with a lot of teams, but the one that stands out to me is splitting against the higher teams in the standings. They split with Team Liquid Challengers. Yeah. They 2-0'd FlyQuest Challengers. Kangas, I believe we were the ones casting that game.
That was a weird day.
That was a weird day for a lot of reasons. But the thing is, Maryville have been able to punch up quite a considerable amount as well, and they've definitely exceeded our expectations in that way.
Yeah, and I think looking at the clips kind of help really showcase why we kind of look at this team and what they're able to really do that upset a lot of people. And for me, I always look at the top side of the map and how they're able to play around a lot of what Niles does. I think there's the clip of him with Gwen proxying a wave early on and then TPing down to the bot lane, which definitely is not something that most teams would prepare for.
Well, it sounds like you want to go take a look at the tape right now. I had a segment prepared here, but it's fine. It's fine, Magical. We can just take a look at the tape instead first. I'll do it afterwards as we talk about DSG also.
I missed that part of the run-up show.
It's all right.
My niece came in and was trying to give me a hug because she's about to leave. And I'm like trying not to pay attention to her, but also look at the camera. So let's look at your segment first.
Thanks for subbing in, Magical. We appreciate you.
Let's rewind the tape a little bit. Sorry to kind of throw everyone off. We're going to look at the expectations that you were talking about.
Okay, all right. I guess we're doing it. We're just doing it. Okay, I'll try and go quick because we don't have too much time. Here's the little presentation graph again for where all the teams are currently in the standings. And I got to say, as a visual representation of where we think, or where at least I think MU is going to be, I actually think they're in a really rough spot. I know they did a lot of work in the first round robin, but I fully expect that was a flash in the pan start. They had coming in with a lot of synergy built up from their CLOL season. EG and AoE are picking things up, so I actually think that these teams are going to start to overtake MU, and MU is going to end up in the bottom 3.
Even after MU 1-1 split with TLC last week?
Yep. Even after that.
You heard him.
I'm a hater. I'm a doubter.
Wow.
All right, I guess he is. Well, now we can look at the clips that I was trying to throw us to. So, Beat, run us through these. And obviously, the Niles TP with the Gwen, that's going to be the first one.
I had to include it. And one of the things that we compliment Maryville for is that unique kind of style. No other team in the league goes for a play like this. You said it, Magical. Proxies that top wave, TP's bot to respond to a dive, and that just blew this game 2 wide open here in the series. So Maryville play this sort of unique style. They're a team much like Fear who are very confident, looking for these team fight angles that maybe don't seem the most advantageous, but they're very confident in their ability to team fight. And it's what has won them some insanely clutch games.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I think this team has really surprised a lot of people with some of these clutch games they've picked up. I mean, even looking at that series against TLC last week, they should have realistically won both games. They were winning early game in both games 1 and 2. This is a team that has really shocked everyone with how aggressive they play right out of the gates. But it is also something that we have to kind of take with a grain of salt, and that's why I said they've won one split with so many teams, because they've also won one split with the bottom half of the standings, as you were kind of talking about, Steve.
Well, in my opinion, the shock and awe style of League of Legends, where you do things that the opponent is not expecting, and that's how you win a lot of your games, that's how Maryville's picked up a couple of their games, and we saw even with Wildcard last spring, I think they were the biggest example that did that, where it's like, oh, they just do things that we're not expecting, picking champs we're not expecting. It rarely scales an entire split. So that's why I have them falling off, because they're not even in the top half of teams right now, even if they're picking up wins against teams well above them in the standings.
Wildcard still did well in our playoffs last time around, even with the shock and awe. So you never know.
This was regular season
They also lost the CLG Faith.
Yeah, that's like, but we're okay. But we're gonna move forward. We're gonna move forward. Let's talk about DSG. Steve, you have another expectations.
I have this
little
one
graphic.
as well. Okay. Let's go one more time. So DSG right now are in 4th place, and expectations is boom, 4th place. They're exactly where they belong. They're where I expect them to be, and I don't see any of the teams below them overtaking them. If anything, there is maybe an argument that they can push up to 2nd. So 2nd, 3rd, kind of in that clump, but I actually do think that FlyQuest is coming online now, so they're not guaranteed top 3.
What about Fear? Is Cincinnati Fear not coming online too? They are right now knocking at the door of DSG and saying, "Hey, we can pass you."
I
promise you guys,
they're a game behind them.
I promise you, when Nui plays real AD carries, this team wins a lot of games. It's so playable. It's so winnable.
So Magical's the hater, and he's saying DSG is going to be back here then. That's what I'm hearing.
Actually, with that, how we've been seeing Fear play lately, I'm having more faith in Fear than it is that I'm not having faith in DSG.
I still disagree. I think DSG are going to be a top 4 team by the end of the split, but we'll see. Obviously, it's going to come down to their own play.
We'll see. I mean, when you look at how some of the play was last week for DSG, we did split a series 1-1 against AoE, and AoE, I mean, you can make an argument they're a team that has been surging, or it could be a flash in the pan as well for AoE, but they did take that game off of DSG.
Yeah, that is a question really about AoE, which we'll get to a little later on, but the point is, DSG, they've had their moments in this last week, and the 2nd round robin is, we kind of have this conversation about consistency and living up to that potential we kind of ascribed to them. And so far, if we look at their results from the 1st round robin and see how they're doing against some of these rematches, so far things are kind of going the same, or actually worse, because they split with FlyQuest the first time around, and this time around they got 2-0'd by FlyQuest, and every other matchup that they've repeated so far has had the exact same result. You might remember 1-1 split.
Yeah, they've been splitting a lot of series. Are they still number 1? Actually, I think Maryville might be.
Maryville is number 1.
Maryville's number 1 in most split, tied with Supernova. They both have 7 1-1s.
Yeah, so that's why I know Maryville is ahead of DSG, and DSG is at 6. So there's always the possibility we get more splits coming in here, especially between 2 teams that like to seem to split these series. And I feel like there's only one way to find out, and that is getting into our first game of the 2nd series between this guys and Maryville University. In chat, let us know who you think is going to win, but you two get us into draft.
Thank you, Magical. As we're into draft for game number 1 between DSG and MU. And I do want to clarify, even though I said some of the games that Maryville have been winning have been kind of the shock and awe tactics, picking things like the Pantheon, doing the level 4 teleport bot lane, things that your opponent's not really expecting, playing more to the map. They have had also examples of games where they just play clean. They just play around the objectives. They set up everything the way that you want to see teams set it up. So I don't want to pull everything away from MU. My expectations, I went a little hard on that, say bottom 3, but there is still a chance. I don't want to count them out fully yet, and neither should you. They still could surge here against a DSG that is looking like it is within striking distance.
So one thing I want to ask you, Kank, is now I'm really testing your ability to pay attention to me. So
Okay.
I said there are 2 instances where I talk about the win rate when ahead at 15 stat. What were they? You
Well, the
remember?
first was the TLC one.
No, but do you remember why I talk about the stat? It's when it's at, I talk about the highest and...
the lowest.
Yes, and actually, Maryville are actually at the bottom of that win rate percentage stat when they're ahead at 15. It's 61%. The next lowest is
Oh.
actually at around 67. So this is a team where, I mean, it's fair to call them flash in the pan in a way, because there are moments, a lot of them, where they actually get early leads, end up losing things out in the end. So more of that consistency, something we're ascribing that we want to see to Disguised as well, is something to keep your eye on.
So let's see how they try and approach this one around. We got the first round of bans through. Panther taken away from Niles. It is one of his favorite champions
it
to
happens.
pilot. And Rel first pick for DSG. So MU go for Tried and True Classic. We got Zaya Rakan, Lovers Duo.
That is an interesting one. I mean, it's a good pairing overall, so it makes sense. Zyko's also been really good at the Alistar, which is the traditional answer, but they want to go for that power combo. Scary Jerry, a player who we think has been leveling up a little bit as the weeks go on. The shift in AD carry meta to champions like Zaya, to like the Kaisa, have been pretty good for him.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Guys are locked in here for Meech. Paired with the Rel, so they have the combo tools to go in. AD carry can follow up, and they pair it with the Maokai, another jungler, kind of control the access points to the river. Oh, Ivern's banned. I was going to say, where have the Iverns been so far today? We haven't seen that.
There he
They're
is.
just taken off the table.
Play-by-plays, man. If they don't say the first rotation bans, they can't see them. Is this how it goes?
Object permanence, man. That's my biggest issue with playing League 2.
And the worst part is it's literally there. You can see it.
Yeah, but it wasn't directly in my line
Yeah,
of vision.
true. You're right. You're right. And so this is interesting. This is going to be the first Vi on 13-13. Again, big nerf. The big thing with the nerf for her was the blast shield. Not as big of a deal early on, but as the time goes down, because it's a percentage of Vi's max health, it will actually impact her ability to stay alive, go for these crazier all-ins, trades, and things like that.
Still can be that point and click. We're going in
yeah.
now button, though. When you have the Rakan following it up, this is a really strong combo because Rakan can struggle as primary engage. He's usually squishy. You can build him tankier these days, but still you can kind of get blown up quickly. So you like to follow up on an engage. Vi is perfect for that. So already maybe a bit of a dive composition for MU as they ban away the Jax and the Rumble. Two very strong solo lane picks for Fake God.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. There could be signaling. Niles wants something a little more aggressive and doesn't want to get outscaled later into the game. And Fake God, we've been giving him a lot of praise. We talk about players who are ready to be in the LCS. Fake God is one of them. He's been outlaning everybody, and it just makes a lot of sense. You got something you want? What's up, King?
Well, Fake God's been playing a lot of Renekton so
He
far
has.
this split, especially blind pick Renekton. So I'm wondering, because MU haven't banned it, it's still up on the table, and their counter into Renekton's gone in the Pantheon. Do they have another counter in the back pocket, or will Niles just lock it in? I think that this makes sense if they're just going to go for this. Now get back the counter pick in the mid lane rather than top lane.
For sure. I think that's the idea here. It's interesting to me that... oh, actually, never mind. I guess I have the blind problem, too, because Trist and LeBlanc are out of the picture. But
I'm not alone!
you're
Let's
not
go!
alone, Kang. It's, synergy and all that. You're welcome. So,
Yeah.
blinding the Renekton makes sense when a lot of things that either outscale it or beat it in straight out in the laning phase are out of the picture. It's a strong point of pressure topside for Niles. And yeah, now at this point, Fake God's best option will be the Cassante. You do have a lot of all-in potential as time goes on, but you're going to get pressured so hard in the lane phase.
Another playmaker, another space maker potentially for Meech.
Nice rhyme.
Let's see what Young wants to blind pick here now. It felt like the Rel Kaisa want to go in, Cassante wants to go in, Maokai can choose to go in or control. Azir can also go in. So this is a pretty flexible team composition. They can have peel tools, they can have engage tools, a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing the damage potential, the scaling that DSG have. You have the Kaisa and this Azir. You're trying to play more of this front to back, and don't pick Victor. Okay, good. I do not like that champion. So DSG,
Not
they
a Victor
clearly
fan?
have...
Come on, he's from Arcane.
I'm not... It doesn't matter. He sucks. So overall, DSG, they have this front to back style composition. You have so much disengage, but the thing that really matters is the engage. Maokai, the Rel, that's all you need. And looking on Maryville's side, it is good that Scary Jerry is playing the Xayah because he's got his work cut out for him. He's going to be needing to dodge a lot. And with solo laners like Annie, like Renekton, you have a lot of this early game pressure that Maryville are going to want to capitalize on.
Yeah, you want to survive because everyone's diving you, but you also need to be the one to do damage. Look at the damage profile of MU right now. There's not a huge amount of DPS outside of the Xayah. It's going to be more about the burst. Try and find that one big pick onto somebody. So Scary Jerry's job is pretty much going to be kill Fake God, Tomio, and Zeyzal. You got to kill the tanks. You'll have Black Cleaver on Renekton helping you out, but other than that, you know, that's going to be your job primarily here. And MU, yet again, I mean, you highlighted this. They don't have the best, you know, win record when they're ahead of 15. This is a comp that feels like they really need to get ahead in order to get the ball rolling, which is how they often do play.
It is true. Maryville have all the tools they need to get very aggressive into this early game. My eyes are especially on Odd Orange and Psycho, who have been playing very well these last couple of weeks. I think Odd Orange has had a great split so far. He's been able to find these pick angles, especially when he's playing something like the Vi. A lot of early game success as well. And he's back on the very same champion. So he's going to be having a lot of opportunities to make plays early. But once that level 6 comes through as well, you have that cease and desist. That's when I expect Maryville is going to be doing a lot of their skirmishing.
So keep your timers set, everybody. Around 6 minutes. Generally 6:30 is when junglers will hit that level 6. Watch for Odd Orange making plays. You can also make plays earlier with an Annie or a Renekton, so I'm not saying that it's only then, but you're right that that is when the really big impactful moments can really start coming through.
Fun stuff.
Yeah, 50-50 split right now in Twitch chat, by the way, between Disguised and MU. Now Disguised barely taking the lead here. Let us know in chat who you think is taking the win here, DSG or MU.
At this point, DSG fans, you're really just hoping that DSG can keep their early game nice and slow, minimize their losses. So when we get to post 15 minutes, 20 minutes, those first couple items start coming through Kangas. And if you're even or even slightly behind, DSG will feel very good about their chances of closing out this game. We posed it in the pregame here too, but for DSG, a team where they are at the top end of the standings right now, but still very inconsistent. This was a team where we thought they would also potentially be championship contenders. And for them to still be that way, they have to be able to win games like this against a team at around the 5th, 6th level like Maryville.
Exactly, and not only that, but I would even argue you should look pretty convincing in those wins. So pressure is always going to be on the team that's competing for the top of the standings as opposed to the team, again, a collegiate representative, the only collegiate representative in this tournament, the only collegiate representative ever to make it to this level of regular season play, the Tier 2. Props to Maryville for making it, and again, props for looking as good as they have so far. They can still prove us wrong, even if my expectation is that they will drop in the second round robin as teams start to figure out how to play against them. It's on them to prove me wrong there, as Odd Orange will look for a gank here. Young has flash, stun from get back, chain to CC, he's out of there. Will survive.
2 flashes for 1. So honestly, net win if you're DSG. Good of Young to be able to escape that one, but I like it. Maryville. Oh,
it's just a 1-for-1.
Oh, you're right. So then, it's an even trade. But at the end of the day, I like that Maryville are looking for these. They have these CC tools. They have great gank setup. So just keep the pressure on these laners, especially Young, who has been not having one of his best splits so far. So keeping him behind on the Azir is great.
I mean, why not just go for another gank down here? Who's going to take up the turret? Nobody so far. They're actually walking past the turret. They just found Tomio. Said, all right, well, take down the tree instead. First blood over to Odd Orange. Azazel looks to trade one back. Meech will fall down, says, where's my support? Oh, okay, I guess you got one. Double kill over to Odd Orange. 2-for-1 trade up for Maryville.
That's got to be the craziest dive to be on the receiving end of DSG. Odd Orange literally just walks up. No
I almost
push play,
guarantee they did not know
nothing.
Tomio was there the whole time.
Yeah, it wasn't until Tomio revealed himself that Zyko could go in and Odd Orange could follow up, and you're going to see it here in the replay. So far, like you said, no knowledge that Tomio is in the area, but I like it. They wait for the CC to come through before the dive starts, and then as soon as that happens, Odd Orange is like,
oh no!
Whoa! What do we have here? A tree? Not on my watch.
Like, like in Pokemon where you like you lock eyes, you have to go in. It's like, oh no,
Literally.
my party's not ready for this fight. I didn't mean it.
Sorry, you shouldn't have looked at me.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's on you, Tomio. 2 kills for Odd Orange early as he'll get right back to farming, take away the Gromp here. We'll see what the first reset looks like. As Tomio picked up some more health, I imagine Odd Orange will get. And what's the Vi build these days? What's
It's still Divine Sunder. It's Divine Sunder still.
It's
Things
still
like
Divine
Black
Sunder,
Cleaver
alright.
and stuff like that. So that's what we're likely going to see Odd Orange go for. And I like the use of that play to set up vision on that bottom side. You see a lot of red wards coming through here. Dragon stacking going to be pretty important there for Maryville. Of course, Odd Orange, because of his pathing, he does need to get his respawn camps. But I got to imagine, once he makes his way down back towards that bottom side, they are going to focus on that first neutral.
Ooh, and Tomio's going for an invade here. Odd Orange has held for a couple more seconds. Might have been able to turn that, but bot lane 2v2, Zyko in trouble. Meech does not have the flash. Now
feathers.
Meech is in trouble.
Oh!
Scary Jerry going very
Meech.
aggressive here. Doesn't get the
Scary
recall
Jerry?
to Meech, but might just have the damage through the autos. One more, and the
That's
enemy
crazy.
carry is down. Zazel cannot keep Meech alive, but should be fine himself. Scary Jerry a little low to continue going forward.
Scary Jerry, he said it in interviews. When he's playing confident, that's when he feels like he's playing his best. There's nothing more confident than that 2v2, Kangas. I was scratching my head the whole time, but they made it work, and they're going to be able to easily get this wave in as well, even though Zazel, he's trying his hardest to not let it happen.
Ooh, yeah, tried to catch it there. Interesting. Truffle in the mid lane as Get Back doesn't go down. Neither mid laner dies. Meech has made it in here. MU just wanted the wave to crash. DSG have actually stopped it, so they can try and set up a freeze on this next wave.
It's too far. Like, it's still going to crash a little later than they want. They are looking for the reset now. And another cool thing about the Zyrocon, Scary Jerry, he can run interference and then take the recall. So, because Zazel has to back, and because Young was forced out, this is good for MU as well, because even though a lot of time is spent on this bottom side and Dragon hasn't been taken, it's not available for them to take either. Young is being pressured so much in this mid lane matchup. You could see it. He's been forced to back twice. Get Back has a sizable CS lead as a result.
Flash from Niles trying to get away from Fake God. All Out has been used.
Oh.
Dominus popped. Who's going to take it? It's Niles with a 1v1 kill.
Wow. Really nice flash to avoid not getting tossed under the turret with the All Out. Niles gets a huge advantage there over Fake God. He's going to be able to easily crash that wave and back off. And instead of Dragon, now there's the question of Rift Herald as well. Odd Orange and the rest of Maryville can set themselves up for it.
Something's making me think maybe MU heard my doubt on them, as all three
didn't like
lanes are currently beating Disguised. Top lane gets a solo kill. Bot lane up 20 CS. Even mid lane less ahead, but Get Back has a lead over Young currently. MU are making it work right now while the bot lane looks for another 2v2. Not all inning on it. Zazel just getting some poke down onto Zyko, but DSG are going to be thinking, how do we get back into this game? I mean, arguably you can say that they're comfortable scaling because, again, MU have a very early game focused comp, so maybe they're not pressured to make plays happen now, but they definitely want to stop the bleeding if possible.
Well, part of the saving grace is that Dragon Soul's not something they got to be thinking about. As a team that is playing a little more for the later stages, you maybe want to get the first Drake, you want to slow the Drake stacking, but we're 8 minutes in, no Drake in sight for Maryville. They're not actually even trying to set it up. You have this Renekton, so at this point in the game, Herald is what you want to focus on. Tomio knows that. So he is in the area, but Scary Jerry, Zyko, the spidey sense is going off, so they don't give themselves away.
Yeah, the team's playing for top side of the map. Odd Orange is on the Herald. I think this is very wise for Scary Jerry Zyko to back off. Don't give your opponents a window to try and punish you. Don't throw away any of the lead that you've built up for yourselves, as they will catch a wave. Odd Orange claims the first Herald. Romeo will start at the Dragon.
And again, just Get Back all inning Young at every opportunity here. Gets so much space in the mid lane for Odd Orange to basically do whatever he's wanted this entire game. So now, even though Dragon goes over to DSG, which is nice, it is something that you get for yourselves, Odd Orange, who has access to that cease and desist, now has the ability to go in for a dive, go in for a big play, which could lead into more than just the 2 turret plates going in.
and they see the dragon taken, so Odd Orange knows that Tomio is on the same side of the map that he is on right now. How bad do they want a level 6 on everybody but Meech? They have a pretty sizable lead over Disguise if they want to go for a 3v3. Okay, now Meech gets it off that ward clear. Could change the game plan, but Odd Orange is still hovering around under the turret. Could look for a lane gank. Zyko tries to set it up or baits Zazel in to an engage himself.
Oh, you can see them setting it up. They're clearing vision all across that bottom side, but Odd Orange doesn't want to use any more time. He's just going to go ahead and clear out some camps instead. Still has multiple options for where he wants to drop that Herald. It could easily be him clearing towards top side. Drop it for Niles, because he's already gotten a big lead. Solo kill. You see 20 CS up.
Oh, 2 turret shots, and he still loses the trade.
I mean, it doesn't help that when you all out as Cassante, you drop a lot of your max health.
True.
So, you know.
Self-damaged right there.
Yeah, a little bit. But overall, Niles, he gets to walk away. That's what matters there. And he gets the wave in as well. So he's going to easily be able to just walk his way back. He has the Gore Drinker, which is a big spike for this Renekton as well. Maryville, happy to use it. They're already going for the invade here with Zyko to just continue denying away gold here from Tomio.
Now we see the full Bramble Vest turned into the Thornmail for Fake God. I'm going to watch Niles' combos because there is a window here. As Renekton, Tomio throws out the Nature's Grass to push him off the blue buff. I don't expect any fights, but as I say that, get back and Zyko have an angle here. They jump onto Young, getting damage onto his ear, shuffled away. Odd Orange took a 1v2 himself and pushed away DSG. But he goes down, and everyone walks away just fine. Odd Orange actually walks forward. He's going to take away this Gromp.
Oh, he earned it. Niles.
Oh!
Okay. I wasn't sure
Close.
how that one was going to go, but the point is, Odd Orange gets to take away the farm. A lot was spent for nobody to die,
Yeah.
but Odd Orange still holds on to his ultimate. You saw Young lost a good bit of his HP. I'm just saying, Vi ultimate right here and now would be pretty good.
Young getting collapsed on.
Nice.
Oh, flash from Odd Orange, flash from Zyko, flash from Get Back. 3 flashes for the kill on the mid laner. Now can they continue the play? It's a 3v2. Odd Orange taking a lot of damage here. Tomio actually does a lot of damage with this build. Odd Orange is back in there. They can't kill the tree though. Meech and Scary Jerry in a 1v1. Scary Jerry pops the Featherstorm. Meech takes it though with the Void Seeker from the brush.
Wow, really nice outplay there coming out from Meech. And for someone who's been under so much pressure before, it is big for DSG that he's able to get some gold back into his pocket there. Get this wave in, deny some of that CS there from Scary Jerry, who's had a pretty big lead so far. He's actually going to get a turret plate as well, which is huge, considering how much Maryville were able to get an advantage in that bottom lane.
That's actually crucial for Meech here. You were so far behind, and now has the stack shift. There we go. First item completed for the Kaisa. MU are not going to play to Scary Jerry to get him a lead again. They will instead play to Niles, who has held onto and maintained his lead. Sticking around for the Herald Charge. 2 plates shared between Odd Orange and Niles. Some more gold in the pocket of the Croc. And I was going to say this point earlier, I'll make it quick now. There is a combo on Renekton that you can pull off without auto-attacking, so you don't proc the Grievous Wounds. You can still heal up. So we'll see. I'm going to be watching Niles' trade pattern to see how he wants to trade into Fake God, because I've been hearing rumblings that maybe the Grievous Wounds from that item is not worth it in this matchup outside of just the armor that you get.
I gotta say, I'm really sad they removed the ability to apply Grievous Wounds from Thornmail by CCing your opponent.
Yeah.
And that's what really makes that one hurt. But we're gonna see the replay here. Really nice Q flash. Young, why are you not by your turret? Obviously, there was an illegal maneuver. The big one there, though, for me is Meech. He flashes the Featherstorm damage, which would have instantly killed him.
Beautiful.
And easy W.
Beautiful. So he ults the initial Feather recall.
Yep.
So he repositions with that. And then he saves the flash for the Featherstorm. That was really well played by Meech.
It was. And remember, DSG.
Oh,
hold
we're
on.
deep.
No
we
flash.
are deep in enemy territory. I don't think MU realized how many members are around them. Get back in Odd Orange are going to have to fight their way out of here unless DSG just don't spot them. Okay, Young's the only one nearby. Everybody else is trying to collapse here. Get back in Odd Orange are fully spotted. They're in trouble. Oh, the Emperor's Divine misses from Young!
Oh,
And now
Young.
they got the damage charge back, can't quite kill him. The burst was not enough. Odd Orange will look for the kill, cannot get it, and is punished for the endeavor. Top lane turret is claimed by Niles as the rest of MU retreat, but they just barely didn't have the damage there.
Yeah, I mean, that was almost something, considering the
Crown.
position Get Back and Odd Orange were in. But ultimately, Young, he did have the crown. He did have that extra bit of a damage reduction for a couple of seconds there. And he managed to live, even though it cost him his flash. The only saving grace for Maryville is that Niles got that turret on the top side. He is very strong as is Renekton, and he got that opening because Fake God teleported away. And that's enough for Maryville to actually win out pressure over this dragon. They don't seem to be wanting to go for it at the moment, but you have Niles in the area. I mean, you still have Scary Jerry, but it seems like it's just not a concern for them.
Whew. All right, let's see how the rest of this one shakes out. It looked like MU had a really decent, deep flank there, but got caught out themselves. Keeps DSG in this game for now, wrestling a 2,000 gold deficit as they will pick up a Herald for themselves here. This can get them back into the game. If they claim a turret with this, it would not be the first turret of the game, as that's already gone down top lane to Niles, but they can at least get more gold in their pocket. I'm specifically looking at their carries, the Kai'Sa and the Azir, trying to funnel more gold into their pockets.
Yeah, and it'll be DSG's first turret, so it's a lot of easy gold for them to pick up off the map at the moment, even though they're down 2,000 gold. And Maryville will go for this Drake, but again, DSG got the first one. So Soul is honestly a long way away. Not really a thought for you at the moment as Skies. So it will be the Cloud Soul coming through here, and Maryville will just continue pressure over this bottom side of the map. I mean, when we talk about item spikes, big thing we're looking at for DSG right now, item 2 for Young and Meech. I mean, for Young, it's almost certainly going to be the Nashor's Tooth, and Meech might actually look like he's going for an AD Kai'Sa build, which would be pretty good, as he could auto-attack a lot in this game.
Yeah, and you already have the AP in the Azir, even a little bit from that Maokai, so that's one of the cool things about the Kai'Sa, very flexible in your damage profile and what the team needs from you. And gets the cannon. Let's go, Meech. Let's go.
That's right. He farms. I love watching professional players farm. It's so cool.
It's surprisingly tilted sometimes, but
I more get tilted for them. If you lose the cannon, I'm like, I feel for you. I'm so sorry.
Speaking of, Niles and Get Back, actually not Get Back, but Niles at the moment that I said speaking of, not anymore, but at the moment was ahead of the 10 CS per minute mark. Very impressive coming in from the collegiate top laner, as now the go button's been pressed by Odd Orange, trying to lock down the tanks. They get onto Young. Up the crown passive, Zazel's in there, but now they can get the damage down onto the carries. Zyko barely alive, just goes down. Get Back falls as well. Double kill to Young. As the battle line was drawn, DSG do not allow MU through it. And the Azir damage is enough to pick up 2.
This is what happens sometimes. Maryville, they got a little too aggressive. Odd Orange tries to go for the all-in, realizes it was not an illegal move after all. You give away a lot of kills, and you give the perfect chance for DSG to continue catching the gold, catching up in terms of gold. With that Rift Herald coming through, it's going to be an easy turret, and now DSG have evened up the odds.
The Herald will claim a turret. They get more gold into the carry of Azir. 5 stacks on Dark Seal as well. So Young kind of off to the races now. Let's see what he purchases with this back. I imagine that's a lot of gold in his pocket. Okay, Fiendish Codex. I don't see what else comes in. But probably at least another component. Let's get another look at the replay.
Yeah, and you just see Tomio here, and you're like, surely this is a fight that we can take here. But okay, Fake God crucially cancels the teleport. That makes a lot more sense. This would have been a vastly different play if Niles actually got to join there. So it's a huge play from Fake God, which is what ultimately allowed DSG to bring the game back.
Yeah, I missed what Featherstorm did in that fight, because with Meech's, or rather Get Back's flash triple stun set up with the Tibbers and the W, if they can, follow up with a bunch of AoE damage, that's huge. But if not, then Annie does not have enough in the tank, especially with this build, to get all those kills herself. MU now tied in gold. We'll look for a play on the bot side potentially. We only have 2 minutes for the next dragon. A little long, though, for any plays to happen around here, so they're just on a bit of a scouting pattern. See if they can find anyone from DSG out of position. DSG are very comfortable here, as we had highlighted. Their composition scales very well. MU are the ones pressured to make plays happen in the early game. So I gotta say, DSG should be favored from this point on.
It's looking really good, I gotta say, Kangas. In Maryville, things were looking good early on. We needed them to make plays, and they showed it to us. But one crucial turnaround there, because Fake God cancels Niall's teleport. Turning things around here. DSG are at the point where they're slightly ahead now. And we're starting to see these second items come through. Meech just built the Rage Blade, which is a pretty big one for this Kaisa. And I will say, we wanted to see more consistency from Disguised winning this game, and you said it, looking good doing so is going to be really important for them to kind of live up to those expectations we set at the start of the split.
And I'd say overall, looking pretty decent. I know that the early game, it got a little confusing. MU was doing their typical shenanigans of making those very early plays, level 3, level 4. Seems to be MU's comfort zone. DSG have absorbed the blows, and now they are making their own plays, almost chunking out Psycho 100-0 over the wall right there. As now the Dragon discussion is on the table. 30 seconds until that spawns. Zyko's going to have to back, reset, heal back up. This gives DSG a lot of room to play with.
And I'm keeping an eye on Scary Jerry. Actually, Get Back as well. Get Back has the teleport. If they are about to collect gold enough to get them to those 2-item spikes, I could see Maryville going for a fight. But we're 10 seconds out. Both are staying in their respective lane assignments, so it's looking like Maryville are going to let this one go. I mean, Soul was a pipe dream to begin with, Kangas. So Maryville are just going to have to rely on continuously trying to find out picks to actually win things out here in this game. But it's tough because DSG are the ones dragon stacking now. And unless Maryville get a clutch pick into a Baron, it just seems like it's going to be a slow bleed out.
We saw pings at Baron from Maryville. I thought maybe they go for it. That would
Literally
be very aggressive
0%
with their composition.
0% chance that works.
Yeah, Odd Orange was just clearing a ward in the pit, as now DSG are turning their Dragon take into a outer mid turret take. Maryville not been playing a very strong defensive game. They're all about offensive, all gas, no brakes, as now Zyko might just get caught out. Quicknesses and battle dances away, so he's fine, but that's the ultimate down, and they don't even get anything in reply. Get Back just shoves in a top wave, and MU have lost their control of the game. DSG, with a scaling composition, have a gold lead. They have more dragons. They have more of the rifts to play with 3 turrets to 1.
At this point, you're really hoping that Odd Orange can make a play to Niles, whatever side lane he ends up being in. This Renekton is still pretty ahead. He has that Sterix gauge built, that extra sustain, that ability to survive burst coming through. And with that lead, if you can turn a pick into something, that is part of how Maryville are going to get themselves back into this one. But they're no longer in the driver's seat, really. Look at the gold here. It's Meech and Young. 2 damage dealers for DSG who will find themselves in the lead here. This is that perfect position after Maryville got that 2,000 gold lead. And look in the gold graph. You can see how things have changed.
Like a dip there. Maryville had that strong early game, but it's not a great stat when you only win 61% of the games that you have a gold lead at 15 minutes. And this shows also some of the difference in how MU approach their games. It's all about early game, but they draft for that too. If the composition isn't far enough ahead and they hit a roadblock, and sometimes the wheels just fall off, and that seems to be what's happening here. DSG are controlling the access points of the Baron, and they're just going to start it up. MU have to walk into them. They don't have Niles with them yet. They will need to teleport Renekton to join.
I will say, Maryville, they're all at their 2-item spikes on all their major carries. There's a world where they fight this, but they aren't positioned well enough. Instead, oh, they got to run.
And now they could maybe look for the engage. I was looking at Flash on Zazel. Doesn't want to go for it, but DSG just get a free Baron. They don't lose anything on the other side of the map. Niles will walk in and maybe take a red buff, I think, but the Turo Baron buff goes over to Disguised.
And Maryville have nothing to show for it. Niles sitting on a pink ward, hoping somebody disrespectfully just brush checks him. But no one's going to do that. You're going to reset. You're going to spend all the gold. And that was one of the last chances Maryville had. They were even on items, like I was trying to call out. And at this point, though, that extra gold you pick up, with the gold you're going to pick up with structures going down, it's going to take something desperate here for Maryville.
Maybe an engage from Odd Orange. It's just Tomio. He's got the Radiant Virtue, so he's a pretty tanky tree at this point. There's not many members that they can look to blow up and pick off, especially with the crown built by Young. Even the Azir's kind of tanky. They will look for the play here on the Tomio. Flashies by Odd Orange. Just feels like the desperation play from MU, and they don't find it. Scary Jerry now in trouble.
Wow.
Poked down, taking a lot of damage. Only the root lands onto Niles. As now Tomio goes deep in, they're going to try and pick out the Crocodile. Niles has no backup from the team and will fall. The DSG have 5v4 with the Baron push.
And it's just so easy for DSG to walk MU down. Now they're going to just continue stacking up the gold. It has ballooned up to almost 4K, which is crazy because it was less than 1,000 just moments ago before that Baron went down, Kangas. And now, Kangas,
Now they just continue
can I be
to
real with
siege.
you? Kangas, can I be real with you?
Yeah. Well, always be real.
Good. I'm going to ask you a question. And it's not about this game because it's kind of decided.
Okay, all right.
Have you watched Spider-Man yet?
Yes, I actually have. I did check it out in theaters.
Good man.
And the
I was gonna
animation
flame you.
studio deserves everything in the world. Give them a raise, give them a vacation, give them an all-paid expense trip to
Give
the
them
moon
homes. I
for
don't
the
know.
effort they
Give
put
this
in.
economy.
What was that?
I said give them homes. Like this economy, just buy a house.
Yes, please.
You know what I mean? Give whatever they want. It's crazy to me that they were able to one-up that first Spider-Verse movie.
I love how this is just your default that you like to talk about when you know
Because
a
it's
game's
still
over.
new, and I need to make sure everyone has seen it. Because it's just crazy to me if you haven't.
Think MU's seen it?
I should
Maybe
have
this
asked.
is
I
their
was talking
moment.
to
Maybe
Scary
this is
Jerry.
where all the other
Maybe.
Spider-Men are chasing them down. Sorry,
The
spoilers. I
canon
just
events.
realized teleports come in as MU are looking for a fight. Haven't found the engage yet. Dominus popped by Niles very early as FakeOdd will walk up and zone him away. Engage from Zazel onto the two tanky members, and the damage just ain't there from MU. They're flashing over the wall. Big engage from the Annie, but it's just not enough. Emperor's Divide will knock the rest of MU back. And they will go back. The recall from Scary Jerry actually turns a lot around there. Big damage, picks up 2. Can get back to any more. Annie is not built for DPS, has built for more pick potential with the rocket belt, so MU are not confident to go up and continue contesting the dragon. They will walk away.
That was one of the best looks we've seen from Maryville in the last 10 minutes here. And you can see it. Niles gets caught out just a little bit here. Zazel with the great flash engage. And really what ends up mattering is just the fact that we're seeing the crown get pretty big value here for Young, giving him enough sustain and time to get the shuffle off. And the only saving grace is that Scary Jerry manages to get a pretty fat feather recall. But ultimately, damage is done. DSG still win out on the trade, and they get their soul point.
I gotta say, even though they lose the play, I kinda like the commitment from Get Back, Scary Jerry, and Zyko.
It is
to just
literally your
flash
only
over
choice.
that wall.
So yeah, that's all. That's
They're all
literally-
in, baby.
Yeah, and you know, props to them. They made it look a lot closer than a 5,000 gold lead would make you think. But
Yeah, fair enough.
Like,
They
it's harder.
almost turned it around with that feather recall.
They
But
almost went
Disguise have
even.
been playing
They
this
almost
one
went
still
even.
pretty clean, and they're close to the death cap on Young, so this game is definitely entering that done and dusted territory. MU might
yes.
set up one final death brush.
it's gonna be hard. They're waiting for someone to show up, but it's difficult. I mean, if you look at Meech too, he's gotten the stopwatch. Same for Odd Orange, so I'm expecting him to go very deep on his next play.
Okay, Tomio walks up to drop the sapling down,
Wow.
and they get a pick. Crucial for MU, much needed play. Zazel goes for the engage on Niles,
Oh
who
my
has
God,
teleported
Niles.
into the fight. FakeOdd much tankier though, and Young with the shuffle gets on everybody but Zyko, and that will be enough. Just by Niles' best efforts, getting the shutdown on a Meech. DSG walk away with a team fight win.
And what a big win it is. We're looking at 40-second spawn timers here. There's a chance that the end of the game happens right now. At the very least, mid inhibitor is going down as Zyko, but a lowly support isn't going to be able to wave clear.
Turo Baron buff is too much for Disguised as they will walk in and claim the middle inhibitor. I doubt they go for much more though.
Oh yeah, it's done.
Yeah.
So you know what? Props to Niles. Kind of saved the game by killing Meech there. I will say.
You know what? Fair enough. Fair enough. And as I say it now, I realize the Baron buff is only just spawning here.
You know, I was
Usually
gonna
when
let
fights
that
happen
go.
around that, you just kind of like in your brain as a caster,
Yeah,
like, oh yeah,
yeah,
they
yeah.
have Baron now, right?
Yeah, totally. Like the pop-ups and stuff aren't anything. You just put it together. Did the observers just shake their
Thank you, observers,
heads?
for highlighting that the Baron has yet to spawn. There it is.
There it
is.
zoom in.
I have eyes, everybody. Woo! Let's go.
Woo!
All right. Well, now that it's on the Rift, we can
Exactly.
see the next fight happen here. MU,
my God, wait,
that was big to
Hank.
get the pick out of Tomio, but the fact that they still lost the fight afterwards shows the deficit they're in.
Oh, hold on.
Now it's going to get harder. They're looking at Fake God. That's an even tankier member than the tree, as the Nature's Grasp will come out. And DSG
the
with
damage.
Zazel landing on to 5. Fake God over the top, pulls everybody else back in.
Oh, wait,
MU
Meech
has
is gone.
one, though. They got Meech. Can they get out now? 1 for 1 so far. They'll lose get back, but if they can keep their carry alive, nah, it's pretty much done right there. Zyko in full retreat mode, supportal combat. He will get away from Zazel, and Niles actually unspotted, but Super's in the mid lane. This game's done. DSG are gonna shove in this wave in the mid, get to the Nexus turrets, and get back. Scary Jerry, Auto Orange, the death timers are too long. Niles will be alone without an ultimate, without a flash to try and defend this one. How well can he do it? As the stopwatch pops it, trying to stay alive. Emperor's Divide shoves him away, and he's down. DSG have done it in game number 1. Slow start, but a ramp up to the end. They will take game 1 against Maryville. Oh, maybe they want one more too. Scary Jerry, go for the kills. The KDA. Young, stop hitting the Nexus. There we go. One more to Young, and they'll take the game.
One more for the road, Kangas, as DSG will win game 1. And man, that was tough because Maryville, they had things going for them in the early game to the point where
Yeah.
I thought, okay, this is what Maryville want to do. They could very well win this game. And that one team fight on the top side where Fake God cancels the TP. And you kind of feel
Yes.
the pain of early game compositions because as soon as your lead is gone at 20 minutes, well, it was a good game. Go next.
Yeah, you won't really be able to wrestle it back with that kind of composition. I'm happy you highlighted that. So, big, impactful moment. While we send it to a break, we want to remind you all, the LCS Challengers League is brought to you by Turo, the world's largest car-sharing marketplace where you can book any car that you want for just about any occasion. Forget about the boring car rentals at Turo.com. Thank you so much to Turo for helping us out here put together the Challengers League. With that said, we're going to send it to a short break before we're back with Magical for the Rally Cry Halftime Show right after this.